MLB is announcing changes to the 2020 amateur draft. They're gonna be cutting the rounds down from 40 to 5, which had already cut down from 50 rounds back in 2012. And when you guys were drafted, you could draft up to 100 rounds. This is the first step to a big league career for all these high school, college players every year. And I want to ask, first of all, how you feel about that move.
I don't get it. I don't get the reasoning behind it. Because I don't think the value of what they're going to save in money really matters if you look 4 and 5 months down the road. So regardless of if the minor leagues don't play this year, you still want to put talent in your system and have them ready for hopefully instructional league, Arizona Fall League, next spring training, all that stuff. So to me, it makes no sense at all. I think it's a short-sighted, not a smart move by MLB, and I don't like it at all.
It's going to be weird because I remember when, who was it? John Patterson, Travis Lee, they had that loophole where they didn't get their contract offered to them within the first 2 weeks after the draft. And they wound up making, I think, combined $16 million to sign with the Diamondbacks rather than the team they signed with. And that loophole, created a situation where now all of a sudden they were free agents. And on that free agent market, they went to the highest bidder. It hurts the teams that don't have money. And the big market teams that can afford to do it, they're going to sign all these guys to these contracts and be able to control them, and into the upcoming years where they can really stock up at this point. Because 5 rounds of a major league draft, that's not nearly enough because of the talent that you need to keep replenishing at the minor league level. You look at the high school kids who are now seniors going into college, and what are they doing, having to do? Now you talk about a kid starting out his pro career, missing out on a year. That's a big step in development. Those pivotal years early on where it's either keep this kid, he's a prospect, or he's not a prospect, right? The 22, 23-year-old, well, a year now of not being able to play the game, it's a scary thought.
You guys are both late round picks. I mean, Glendon, you probably would have been a first rounder had you not signed the letter of intent. I mean, your high school senior stats were absurd. 0.79 ERA, 134 Ks to 15 walks. But you signed a letter of intent, so a lot of teams back up.
Park with no lights?
Seattle, it was a lot of cloudy games.
The Royals took a flyer on you, right? 17th round, they figured, what the hell? We'll draft this kid and see if we can convince him to sign, and they ended up doing it. Your signing bonus has never been reported. 27 years later, are you willing to admit it right here? Set the record straight.
$25,000.
Is that all?
That's all I signed for. Yeah. I think the biggest part of my decision was I felt like I was obviously excited to have an opportunity to be a pro, but I felt like I was mature enough at the time to be able to be a pro. And that's Figgy knows that's the hardest part is if you can be a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid through the minor leagues when you would be in college, and if you can handle that lifestyle, take care of yourself, have a halfway decent head on your shoulders, and learn what it takes to be a pro, because it's a long season, it's a grind, and it's difficult. So I felt like I was ready to do that. And yeah, of course, when you look back on it and you go for $25,000, a used Honda and a couple new pairs of socks. I mean, what else are you gonna? It's not like you're making out that well, but when you look back on it, it's definitely the percentages are stacked against you. But I was one of the lucky ones, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I guess my question then is, why did you sign that letter of intent to scare off those teams when frankly you really probably could have been a first rounder that year with those stats, right?
I don't think I even thought about any of that stuff because I kind of came on everybody's radar late as a junior. And so when the University of Washington called me my beginning of my senior year and said, hey, we're going to give you a scholarship that'll essentially take care of your school if you live at home and you can come play here, I jumped at the chance. So I wasn't even thinking about the draft or posturing what I was going to do or anything like that. And it probably all worked out for the best.
Could have added probably another couple zeros at the end of that 25,000.
I'm sure.
I pushed for 25,000 in the 30th round, and I got laughed out the building. I got 2,500.
Isolate Night with Scott Rogowski, live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.